moving on here, Ricky Flicks. I want to talk about Pixar really quick. Pixar Turning Red, a major release that's been teased for the last 2 years. It's going to release exclusively on Disney Plus. All right. Pete Docter, right? Famous director from Pixar, had a quote, and he said about the ideas of his Pixar films going on Disney Plus. He said, quote, "I think there is something big and monumental about a theatrical release. So to kind of skip that and know that people are going to be watching on their iPhones or whatever, question mark, and end quote. It seems that he's not a fan of Pixar movies being released exclusively on Disney Plus. We had this happen with Onward, right? And it was also available with Luca. Do you agree with Pete Docter here? Soul, do you agree with Pete Docter? Yeah. Do you think that Pixar movies deserve the movie theater treatment over streaming?
So I do, and here's why. Pixar is the best, and clearly the best animated film producers there is. Like, of all time, there ever has been, there probably ever will be.
Greatest success rate.
And they only get better. To put them to the level of streaming, I think, is not right. And I think during COVID, like when Soul came out, and Onward, especially Onward, because that was right at the height of the pandemic, right? That was just unfortunate circumstances there. Like, you needed to do that. Luca as well, you could say you needed to do that as well. But Pixar, they are bigger than any animated film. Like Mitchell versus the Machines, another film I watched this weekend, didn't love, but didn't not like. That is not even close to Pixar. I won't say it's better than The Good Dinosaur, but besides that, every single Pixar film was better than
Cars 3.
Okay, I didn't think of the Cars franchise. Cars 2 and 3, The Good Dinosaur, only movies from Pixar that aren't better than Mitchell versus the Machines.
Wow.
And people are saying that might win an Academy Award for Best Animated Feature Film.
Yeah, so over Luca.
Yeah, which is crazy to me.
I love Luca. I was a huge fan.
Oh, I know you are. And
I was there the entire way. I haven't rewatched it since. I'm tempted to rewatch it just because of this news, right? Mm-hmm. And I'll think to myself, well, would have this been more enjoyable if I saw it in theaters? But sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I'm going on a little rant there. But basically what I'm saying is Pixar is so far ahead of everybody else in their game, in their craft, that to put them just straight to streaming reduces their effect on Hollywood, on cinema, and in theaters. Because if you just keep consistently putting out their like animated movies on streaming, that means all animated movies will go to streaming. Because if the best of the best aren't even getting a theatrical release, then why have any other animated film go to release? So this is just putting all animated films down a pedestal to me. And I think Pete Docter coming out and saying this, the Pete Docter, I think is huge for theaters. So theaters, like, that's a huge pro for you. You have Pete Docter on your side. So it's big for them.
I think Pixar's earned the right to release movies strictly in theaters. They should have power over their releases. And I would say I think it's because of the Trolls World Tour effect. Remember that back in 2020? Yep. So that was a situation where we had VOD went skyrocketing when Trolls World Tour was taken from theaters, or they pulled back from theaters and made it VOD. It was the highest purchased movie on VOD like of all time or something like that. It was something nuts. But it's scary now because I think movie theater experiences need to be enjoyed by all ages, not just adults. And I feel like other than Marvel, like if kids are too young to see Marvel movies, they can see Pixar movies, right? Great movies that will give you great experiences. And so like these kids at a young age will be able to go to a movie theater and not be just used to staying at home, watching on an iPad, watching on your TV. Like, it's important that they can go to the theaters too. So when they get older, they have that tradition already set in place. So it's scary that Pixar is now resorted to their third and fourth movie that are going to be on Disney Plus. That's a little scary, right? I want to see that the numbers turn out. Like, I wish there was a dual release at least, just to see, like, will kids actually still go, right? I think this is also more for parents. This is just like so parents can just put on a movie on VO on Disney Plus, and they don't have to take their kid anywhere, right? You're robbing them of great experiences, right? As fans of movie theaters, I think it's wrong.
Yeah, and I still remember one of my favorite memories as a kid, when I was a little kid. One that I actually remember was when I was 3 or 4. I remember going to see Monsters, Inc. in theaters. Mm-hmm. And actually, I was with you, Dr. O. I was with our other brother, Big Mike, and Olek, our father. And I remember seeing that movie. And
I
I
remember
remember
this as
that
well.
fondly, and that's like one of my favorite movie theater experiences ever. It was like such an awkward day. I won't get into the details. It was a weird birthday party for people, but I actually remember that fondly. And you know who directed that? Pete
Pete
Docter.
Docter.
But
My first movie was A Bug's Life.
yeah, so like it just shows like the power
Pixar for
theaters
young
and
people.
Pixar animated films have on kids, and just not being able to see that theatrically, I think, is a shame. And it goes to your point. So not to get all sentimental here, but if Pete
That's what
Docter
Pixar
is
is,
doing
though.
that
It is
here,
sentimental, and it does get people should get in their feels about it.
and Pete Docter does represent Pixar. Like he is Pixar now. Like he's done Up, like I said, Monsters Inc., Inside Out, which critically, like some say, is the best Pixar movie. And he's done Soul, and he's like he's producing
Bangers.
and I think
Bangers.
and he's obviously he's a chief creator of Pixar, so he's a producer on all their films. So he's a producer on Lightyear, and I'll tell you this, Dr. O, if Lightyear doesn't get a theatrical release, we riot.
Oh my
We
god!
riot.
If they do that, we might have to like just spend a podcast ripping on Disney Plus.
We would have to riot.
2 hours.
We would
3.
have to riot.
Yeah, I can't believe you even just said that. If I have to watch Buzz Lightyear, the new one, the origin story with Chris Evans on a TV, I will probably.
It's a June.
I don't know what I'll probably.
It's a June release.
I'll boycott Disney Plus.
It's a June release, and Turning Red comes out March 11th. I think Lightyear's June 22nd. So 3 months later, 3 months, 11 days, whatever. If that, like, that's not a short amount of time. I mean, that's a pretty short amount of time.
Option, if it's even like a hybrid option where it's theater and Disney Plus,
we still
boycott.
Yeah.
Still boycott. We do not watch any piece of Disney Plus, as it will kill me. I cannot watch some of these Marvel series potentially, but I will do so in the name of Pixar.
Yeah, it's crazy that we're even talking about this. Like, it's a shame.